He played the church organ every Sunday, a trusted leader in his church, one that the young people look up to, a helping hand in his community, or so they thought. But behind those church doors, he was hiding something sinister. How did Kenneth Owusu fool an entire community? Let's dive into this story. Kenneth Owusu, a Ghanaian living in the UK, and he built a reputation as a kind man, a kind person, and especially to young people and new immigrants moving into his community. He was the man of faith, charity, and leadership. But behind that church persona, he was a ruthless drug dealer. This man has ruined a lot of young lives. He doesn't care about your situation. He would look for people who are struggling, immigrants who came to the UK and they're struggling to find work, they're struggling to settle in. He preyed on people who he think had no one to turn to. Immigrants with no legal status. People who are struggling to pay their rent. Young boys with no jobs. Maybe those who are from broken homes and they've lost their way a little bit. He would befriend them. And once he befriended them, he would offer to pay their rent, to pay their bills, to buy them grocery. He would make them think that he's sympathizing with them and their situation. He would say, look, I know what it's like moving abroad and struggling, you know? I've been there. So I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help my fellow people. So he would offer them hope. So he would befriend them. Then he would offer to help them out. Offer to help them to pay part of their rent, as I say, to buy some groceries, you know. Then he would use their homes to hide his drugs. Some of these people didn't even know that he was using their homes as his drugs headquarters. They didn't know. They just saw someone that was kind and someone that they could trust. You know, they just saw him as someone who was thinking of them. He would recruit these young people, some of them barely teenagers. He would recruit them and use them to move his drugs around from one place to another. What is even more disturbing is that Kenneth never stopped playing the organ in church. Every Sunday, he would be in church leading worship, singing, praising God. But he was only using the church as a cover-up for his drug dealing. He ruined a lot of lives, a lot of young lives. Some of these young people were trapped in the situation. They couldn't leave. They couldn't say no. And Kenneth didn't care. And these drugs were not just simple drugs. These were Class A drugs, crack, cocaine, heroin. He used these young people, vulnerable people, desperate people as his drugs couriers. But what Kenneth didn't know was that the police had been tipped off. They were tipped off by one of the same people that Kenneth took advantage of. One of the same people that Kenneth was using to quarry his drugs around the country. So on April the 9th, the Thames Valley Police raided Kenneth Owusu's address, and what they found was shocking. In his property, the police found a bag containing large quantity of heroin and wraps of crack cocaine, along with equipments to prepare them. Police also seized his mobile phone and downloaded all the messages which showed further evidence of his involvement in the supply of crack cocaine in the area. Kenneth Owusu, 31 years old, was charged with multiple drug offenses and he was sentenced to 4 years and 1 month in prison. The detective in charge, Detective Constable Stephen King of the Milton Keynes team, said Owusu was supplying Class A drugs within Milton Keynes to some of the community's most vulnerable people, as well as using their addresses to store drugs and base himself. Owusu will now have some time to reflect on his behavior and how it impacts others. He also said that the Thames Valley Police will do everything possible to disrupt the supply of drugs and seek justice for those involved. We will continue to work hard to stop the supply of drugs in Milton Keynes. With the public help, this can be increased. This story is not only about Kenneth Owusu. This is about more than just one man. There are many lives that are ruined by the actions of this one man. Many vulnerable people in the community, life was ruined. Please share this video to inform our community, because there are many more Kenneth Owusus in our communities today, preying on vulnerable people, people who are desperate, people who are struggling. This story is a story for us to learn from, a story to bring awareness that when people are struggling, when people are desperate, there are predators that will pretend to help, only to destroy lives behind the scenes. If you find any value in this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's raise awareness and protect the most vulnerable in our communities. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.